Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Khalid Mawarti from Indonesia. I am currently a lecturer in Institute for Islamic Studies, Purwokerto, Indonesia. In this video, I will present the result of our research about laku kendali sada of Tarekat Rinjani in Besuki Village, Banyumas, Arkansas. This research aims to seek ritual or practices of Tarekat Rinjani members in Besuki Village, Banyumas, Arkansas. The ritual of Tarekat Rinjani is known as laku kendali sada, which includes two practices. They are laku batinia or spiritual practices and laku lahiria or physical practices. Therefore, the purpose of this research is to reveal the spiritual as well as physical practices of Tarekat Rinjani in Besuki Village. This research is a cultural anthropology research which reveals cultural phenomena, a meaning that is arranged from symbols, views of life, belief, interaction pattern, and ritual procession. The object of this study are the spiritual as well as physical practices done by Tarekat Rinjani in Besuki Village, Banyumas, known as laku kendali sada. This study seeks to analyze how individual and group of Tarekat in viewing and interpreting their daily life. The researcher position themselves directly involved in the activities of Tarekat Rinjani, particularly in suluk or visiting sacred place, ritual using field note, and conducting interview with informant related to several things that needed for further explanation. Result and discussion. Tarekat Rinjani is a local tarekat based in Besuki Village, Lumbir Subdistrict, Banyumas, Arkansas, Central Java. The name Rinjani is actually an abbreviation of Rela Ilahi Nanggung Jawab Amanah Negara Indonesia, a Javanese phrase mean willingness to take responsibility of Indonesia in order to seek the good grace. This tarekat was founded by a pious young man, Mr. Untung Waloyo, a nomad santri who seek knowledge from various kiai and habaib in Banyumas, such as Mbah Abu Hamid Beji, Mbah Malik bin Ilyas Dukuh Paro, Habib Hamid Sukaraja, and Mbah Abdullah, are often referred to by the community as Mbah Dano. Tarekat Rinjani is not a mu'tabarah or not recognized because it does not have mutasil sanad to the Prophet Muhammad. Mutasil sanad means it does not have sanad directly from Prophet Muhammad. Although the sanad of Tarekat Rinjani is not mutasil, it does not mean that this tarekat is a splinter flaw out of Islamic Sharia. The procedures for adherence, dhikr, and wirid closely resemble Tarekat Qadiriyah and Khawatiyah, which are considered mu'tabarah by the Nahdlatul Ulama or NU. Tarekat Rinjani is like other local tarekat in Java, which has local nuances. There are some syncretic teaching and practices intersect with mysticism. Thus, local tarekat are often suspected as deviant because they do not have clear and confusing sanad. Unclear sanad or genealogy and syncretic teaching cause local tarekat to be classified as ghairu mu'tabarah or unorthodox tarekat. This condition has caused many Orthodox Muslim organizations and Orthodox scholars to forbid Muslims following this local congregation. This tariqat is encouraging the members to be closer to Allah, to wird, dhikr, and suluk, that is a kind of pilgrimage or journey to visit some areas considered being it or sacred by rural Javanese, such as the Nusa Kambangan area Cilacap and Mount Tidar in Magelang. During the visit, the members are expected to always remember Allah or dhikrullah and being grateful by seeing all the appearances of the universe or kauniyah verses. Tariqat Rinjani not only teaches with the virid from the previous scholars, but also has a special teaching formulated by a leader of Tariqat called Berlian Mas, which consists of the description and direction of Prophet Khidir. These teachings are spoken by the leader of the Tariqat, which is then widely recorded and written by its members using Latin letters in the Javanese using Banyumas dialect. The teaching originates from God and the phenomenon of the universe have made the Tariqat members to love their homeland, Indonesia. Berlian Mas consists of the 13 main teachings, which are abbreviations known in Banyumas. First, Kunci Negara Indonesia means that knowledgeable ulama or scholars are the key for seeking knowledge in order to be close to God by remembering that Allah has given the people Indonesia as a home which is an autonomous and democratic country with its prosperity and beauty. Second teaching is Alam, which is an abbreviation of Asal Lahir Air Mani, which means the human is originated from semen, the lawless entity of human life. This teaching is to remind us that they are merely low beings that should not be arrogant toward others and God. Third teaching is dunya, or dalan usaha nyinauni alam. Dunya means world in English, which suggests that the way to reach Allah's love is by learning from nature. It is to suggest that every activity in this world is nothing but to remind us to Allah, mercy and grace. The fourth teaching is Batu, or Badan Alam Tiang Urip, which means that the physical body of human life should be governed by a heart obtained from learning and modeling the ulama, or Islamic scholars. The fifth teaching is Bako, or Bumi Allah, kekuasaan ora tanding, means that there is no power greater than Allah. It is to remind us that Allah is Al-Malik, the Lord of world. It is to admit that Allah is sovereign of the universe, which is the only one to be worshipped. The sixth teaching is Bulus, Budi luhur sesama, baik ulama luwes ules sampurna. This teaching taught that the member of Tariqah should do good toward others in order to be safe in the world and hereafter. Doing good here is by following the model and example of the Prophet Muhammad as well as the Muslim scholars. The teaching also suggests that the purpose of human life is manunggal marang Allah, that is to unite with God. The seventh teaching is angrem, or aku golet gaman rino enggal mulia. This teaching taught that the purpose of human life is to admit the oneness of Allah by doing everything for Allah. The eighth teaching, berlian, or budi pekerti eleng rito langsung ilham Allah nanggulangi. Berlian means diamond in English, which represent the most beautiful and expensive jewelry in the world. It refers to the main teaching of this tariqah that human has to embellish themselves with good moral and behavior spiritually as well as physically solely in order to get the blessing of Allah. This teaching corresponds with ninth teaching, Mas, or mulia Allah selamat. That is to suggest that if human want to be safe in the world and hereafter should do everything merely to seek blessing from Allah. The tenth teaching is iman, or induk mengenal Allah nitis. That is faith that there is nothing but Allah that should be worshipped. The 11th is Islam, or insab selamat laku agama migunani, means Islam is the way to reach Allah love and to be safe in the world and hereafter by always remembering and repenting toward Allah. The 12th teaching, akhirat, or akhir hidup eling ridho Allah tinulungan. It is to teach that the purpose of human life is not life in this world, but in the hereafter. It is to suggest that every aspect of human life, as well as everything that we do in this world, will be rewarded by Allah in the hereafter. This teaching will lead to the last teaching, that swarga, or sukses uripe wekasane amale rahmat ganjarane Allah. Swarga mean heaven in English, which means that the ultimate goal of human life is to be awarded Allah love and heaven. Laku batiniyah. The purpose of kendali sadar spiritual practices is to get closer and get compassion from God by following berlian mas teaching. The first step is by realizing the position as a merely human being created from man, that essence of the universe. The second step is by realizing himself as a creator. Then human must understand that the reason he was created is only to bow down to worship Allah. The third step is by eliminating the bad qualities and fulfilling the person with the praiseworthy qualities and interacting with all beings. The fourth step is always fulfilling that heart with the glory of God by constantly seeing and contemplating all His creation in this universe. In order to realize this fourth step, Salik should love and preserve the existence, wholeness and diversity of Republic of Indonesia as from glorifying God creation. The last step, when the heart have been filled with God majesty, a salik must surrender to desire for God's love, regardless of his promise and threat. This is highest position of Kendali Sada practices in the Tarikat Rinjani. Laku Batiniah. Kendali Sada first spiritual practice in the Tarikat Rinjani begin with managing the heart and mind, or noto ati pikiran in Java, by renewing the faith of the Tarikat members by saying to Shahadat, there is a confession that Allah is the only God and Muhammad is the messenger of God, to remind them that the only thing to be worshipped and that can be depended on by creators is none other but Allah. Kendali Sada second spiritual practice is reciting dhikr and wirid to draw closer to Allah and gain His love. The main recitation of the dhikr practice by Tarikat Rinjani is dhikr of Fida, or in Javanese known as dhikr pitung laksan. Dhikr Fida is remembering Allah by reading the kalimah tahlil, La ilaha illallah, there is no God but Allah, 70,000 times. This dhikr serves as compensation for human to avoid from the grief torment, keep away from hellfire, and gaining Allah's love. Laku Lahiriah. Kendali Sada's physical practices include first, loving the Republic of Indonesia by flying the red and white flag along with the NU flag or Nahdlatul Ulama in every moment of national holidays or Islamic holidays. Second, helping others regardless of religion, group and race, such as a traditional of gathering or visiting other Tarikat members every week. Third, doing a spiritual journey by visiting various places and consider having high karomah or winged, such as Tomb of Guardian and Soleh people around Central Java, such as the Nusa Kambangan area, known as the Winged area, and Mount Tidar as a magical gathering place for spiritual Muslim figures and Javanese spiritual leaders. In this kind of spiritual journey, there is a contact between local tarikat and groups of practitioners of mysticism or kejawen. I think those are presentation about laku Kendali Sada of Tarikat Rinjani and Besuki village that I can share. If you have question and curious, to let me know in the comment box below. Thank you very much for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.